She was snatched from her bed at 14.
She spent 9 months in captivity.
Today, on Should I Watch That? We're going to discuss the documentary Kidnapped, Elizabeth Smart. I'm Rachel.
I'm Janet.
All right, let's get into it.
So we're taking you back to 2002,
Mm-hmm.
and it's June. It's summer in Salt Lake City,
Mm-hmm.
and a 14-year-old girl named Elizabeth Smart, sound asleep in bed, her sister in the room, and a man enters their bedroom, puts a knife to Elizabeth's throat, and says, "Get dressed and come with me." And like, I can barely put a foot out from under the covers because the monsters are going to get me. Can you imagine at 14 that you wake up and there's a strange man there and he's threatening to kill you and your family if you don't get up and go with him? I have no idea
No,
what I would do.
no, it's so crazy. And the fact that her younger sister was there too. So it was Elizabeth in the room. She was 14, and her sister was 9 at the time. And like my daughter right now is 8, almost 9. I cannot imagine. It would be like her and her cousin being in the room and that happening. And I just cannot. It
Mm-mm.
must, they must have been absolutely terrified.
Terrified. And so this man who kidnaps her, his real name is Brian David Mitchell, but
Hmm.
he called himself Emmanuel.
Yep.
He is a self-proclaimed religious
Prophet.
preacher, prophet man, crazy man.
Yes. A
So
religious
he
zealot, if you will.
zealot, if you will, and he takes Elizabeth through the woods, up the mountain, down the mountain, and to this tent where his wife is waiting,
Mhm.
and she's dressed in robes, and he presents Elizabeth to his wife, and he's like, "All right, get her ready for our wedding," essentially. And this child is 14. And of course, if she weren't such a good little girl and a church going child, she would have been saying, "The fuck is happening right now?"
Mhm.
And he literally performs a ceremony, marries her in his eyes and in
Air
his wife's,
quotes.
air
Mhm.
quotes, and then he has sex with her to consummate the marriage.
Oh no, we're not saying that. He raped her.
Well, yes, thank you. He raped her.
Language matters. We got to say what it
Language,
is.
use your words.
He raped a child.
He raped this 14-year-old girl. And this goes on for 9 months.
9 months.
And I don't even have words. The fact that she survived this emotionally intact, mentally intact, and able to move on with her life is a testament to her as a person.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And I think Ah, I have lots to say. I mean, unfortunately, this is not the only case that we have heard of that is
Mhm.
similar in nature. Um, and it makes me absolutely sick. So his wife, so we're going to say these people's names one time just for the record, and we won't say them again because they're pieces of shit. So Brian David Mitchell, his wife's name was Wanda Barzee. And both of them participated in this. I mean, she was just as guilty as he was, even though she did not sexually assault Elizabeth. They did starve her at points. They
Mhm.
manipulated her psychologically. They forced her into like ritualistic scenarios. And they pretty much were just living in a tent in the woods
And the
in
fact
Utah.
in Utah, right? And threatening her,
Yeah.
obviously, if you try to escape, we'll kill you. If you disobey, we'll punish you. If you don't do this, we're going to go back and kill your family. I mean, this poor child. And she was a child. And I
Yes.
know 14-year-old girls today are not what 14-year-old girls were when I was 14, obviously. But you're still a child.
Yes.
And the
And
fact that he thought, even in his psychotic brain, that he thought this was a good idea, it baffles me to no
well,
end.
I mean, like I said, we see it time and again. And especially in the Utah, like polygamy religious
Mhm.
groups, child marriage and child rape is unfortunately. I mean, look at that whole what's his name? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. But him and his whole family, like he was marrying like 9-year-olds.
Yeah.
You
Are
know,
you thinking
you know what I'm talking about?
David Koresh? David Koresh?
Yes. Well, no, not him.
No.
Oh, the guy that's so gross looking. He looks like a mole. Like the animal. Everybody. I'll think of his
The
name.
mo
Sorry.
the mole man.
Um, the mole man. But they were fundamentalist Mormons, the FLDS people.
Mhm.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Anyways, it doesn't matter. We're
Yeah.
talking about Elizabeth Smart. So so she was abducted. Um they obviously threatened the sister too, like not to tell anyone, but of course she went to her parents and told them. So the police were called immediately. There was a huge search for Elizabeth right away.
Mhm.
And the sister also I didn't write down the name of her sister.
Mary
Do you remember
Catherine.
her? Mary Catherine. Okay.
Mhm.
She like worked with a sketch artist and did a sketch, and I mean, they interviewed her multiple times because she was the witness.
Mhm. And they
9 years old.
hypnotized her, I
They
think. They
hypnotized
hypnotized
everything.
her, and, like, she always said she recognized his voice, but she
Yes.
couldn't place his voice.
Uh-huh.
And they of course, obviously, they're gonna go straight to the family to see if one of
Yes.
them is guilty, so, you know, all of her uncles and her parents, and when they finally ruled out the whole family, they were just at a
They did.
standstill
Yeah.
because the sister couldn't identify him. No one in the family could figure it out. They even went to like contractors and workers and people who had been in and around, and like they
Yeah.
I mean, they were looking at everybody as suspects.
Everybody. And of course, as Janet mentioned, they did look at the family and the father, and that definitely put a strain on the family, as it would.
Mhm.
Because everybody's like, "Well, did you do it?" Like I could just imagine like pointing the finger at each other, being like, "Who was it? You? Was it you?" Like, because you don't know.
Right, and you want
Th-
to trust your own family, but
Yes, but
you never know. Mhm.
statistically, abusers are most likely to be family members or
Mhm.
known to the family. So
Yes.
for it to be basically a stranger that did it is more uncommon
Mhm.
than like stranger danger is less common than family member danger. You know what I'm saying?
Family member
And
danger.
that is a statistic, okay? I'm just made it up. No, but for real, it it was bonkers, okay? Cuz she went missing in June. Um and what's crazy is after a while, Mary Catherine, she was doing something and then she just remembered this man's name.
Mhm.
And she's like, "Dad, it's Emmanuel." And they tell the police. She tells the police, they tell the police it's this Emmanuel guy. And then her dad
Mhm.
remembers, "Oh yeah, we met him. He was like this homeless guy. I let him like do work at the house one day or something, but that was it. They only saw this man one time ever." But the police didn't believe her. The
Yeah.
police were
It
the
yeah.
police were like, "Oh, I doubt it's that guy. Come on." How could it
Well,
be that guy?
and after months of trying to convince this child to remember and think harder
Yes.
and remember,
Yes.
and when she finally does, they're like, are you sure that's who it was? Because
Right?
I'm like, well, then why did you even ask her in the first place?
I was screaming at the TV. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" This poor girl has been traumatized. She remembers exactly who it was, and you're telling her she's wrong?
Hmm.
Oh my god, I was so angry. Um, but because the pictures were out, um, I think they like did a vague look for this guy. They did not put much resource into finding him. But
Hmm.
he was also a vagrant. Like he was homeless. So they
Hmm.
didn't have an address for him, so I would imagine it would have been hard to find him anyway. But
Yeah.
um finally in March of 2003. So she went missing in June of 2002, and then in March of 2003 they took her out in public.
Hmm.
They had
But they
her
had her, yeah,
yes,
in
they
all the
had
long
her
robes, the face
yeah,
covering.
they had her face covering except for her eyes. So the person that saw her could tell that she was a young girl. And they
Hmm.
were like, "This is really really weird. I'm going to call the police." And thank the gods and goddesses and heavens and hells and everybody because she was reunited with her family on March 12th, 2003. And guess who had her? Emmanuel, the guy that the 9-year-old said took her.
Oh my God, it's so frustrating. And
So
like,
frustrating.
and the poor Elizabeth was, I don't want to say brainwashed to some extent. I mean, she had been physically, sexually, mentally, emotionally abused for 9 months
Yes.
straight. Like she was
Yes.
terrified to do anything.
Yes.
And the policeman, like, made sure to separate her from the couple, and he
Uh-huh.
had her away from them. And he was like, "Miss, what's your name?" And she really wouldn't answer him. And finally, he said, "Are you Elizabeth Smart? Are you the girl who's missing?" And her response to him was something like, "So thou sayest," or "Thou sayest."
Yeah.
Like they had like taught her to speak a certain way and to respond a certain way. It's like
Yeah.
Handmaid's Tale or something.
Yeah.
And that's when they called the family, and they're like, "It's Elizabeth."
Yeah.
And oh my God, just horrifying. And
Horrifying. But
they are,
thank
yeah, go
goodness
ahead.
the cops actually like did that.
That they pushed it. They didn't just take their word
Yes.
for it.
Because I mean, I've heard other stories where the cops do show up and the girl is too scared to speak or say something and they just
Mhm.
leave. Like, what the fuck? So,
I know.
thank goodness that that cop like pushed a little bit and like
Mhm.
understood when she said that because I remember him saying in the documentary like it was really weird what she said, but it really stuck out to me and I
Mhm.
knew it was her immediately kind of thing.
Mhm.
I was like, thank heavens for
Yes.
that he
And
had like the wherewithal.
this insane psycho prophet, um, he was ruled competent enough to stand trial, despite the fact that he was a crazy man. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole, thank God. But his wife only received a 15-year sentence.
And got
And
out after
that,
9.
yes, and like I will never understand that. She was just as guilty,
Yes.
just as guilty.
But she
And
cooperated against her
mm,
husband, so they gave her a more lenient sentence, which pisses me off. That makes me
like
so angry. And not only that, but he wasn't convicted until 2010.
and like
7 years it took. And in the documentary, Elizabeth was like, I wanted this to be done. I would do
mhm.
anything. I would testify anywhere. Let's get him be like convicted, and behind bars and put in prison. Like, why is it taking this long?
Do you remember? I don't remember. I remember that moment in the documentary where she was like, "This is ridiculous. I will testify. I will
Yeah,
tell you every little freaking gory detail of what happened."
yeah.
And do you remember why it was so long from his arrest in 2003 to when he finally went to trial? I
No,
don't
I don't.
remember.
They didn't really explain that in detail.
But I mean, obviously he was in prison during that time. I mean, he
Yes.
wasn't like out with an ankle monitor or something, but still. I mean, the fact that they didn't lock him away that day. And I know that's not reasonable or
Right.
realistic, but
How much more evidence do you need?
yes, when you find this poor child and this child is willing to tell you everything that happened. And the
Okay.
wife, if the wife turns on him too, like what more do you need?
All right. I looked it up, and the reason
Mhm.
why it took so long is because they kept going back and forth between his mental competency.
Oh.
So, because he exhibited extreme delusions and an erratic behavior, there were times when judge ruled him incompetent and then they would rule him competent. So, it took a
Mm.
while to get through that. Then there were forced medication battles. So, prosecutors wanted permission to medicate him involuntarily so that he would be
Hmm.
competent.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if they ever put him on some kind of medication regimen once they got him in prison.
It says years of hearings and appeals before medication was allowed and took effect.
Oh.
And apparently, he cycled repeatedly between federal psychiatric facilities and courtrooms. Each
Oh my
time
goodness.
doctors reassessed him, the court had to decide whether he was competent now. Several times he slipped back into incompetence. Jeez Louise. And because, so at some point they did take her to California.
Mhm.
So that meant that she crossed state lines. So
Mhm.
the crimes spanned state and federal law. And they, because it involved Utah and California, it took a long time to like get all of the evidence and the testimony and figure out jurisdiction.
Oh.
So that was a long process too. Excuse me. And then the role of his wife, initially they weren't sure if she was mentally competent. So that was a
I
whole
wish
thing.
I wish they had gone into more of that in the documentary
I wish they
because
did too.
they just sort of yada 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 through some of that, and then Elizabeth was like, "And I took the stand."
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I wish they had gone into a little bit more. I mean, not to give this man or this woman their moment in the spotlight, but at least explain why it took forever.
Yeah, I would yeah. I mean, I think that they probably didn't want to focus on him in the documentary. They wanted the focus to
Yeah,
be her
probably
cuz
so.
he's had enough of
Mm,
his time in the limelight. That little
mm.
shitbag.
The other thing I
Pardon.
wish in
Mhm.
the documentary, I wish so I feel like there was one point where Elizabeth was telling her story and she's like, I came home and, we didn't really talk about sex or abuse or anything like that. And it's
Mhm.
sort of like, well, now you're home, everything's fine. And I wish they had gone into a little bit more about how she overcame.
Yeah.
Like were her parents supportive of counseling or therapy or medication or and I know, like that's obviously not the answer for everyone in the world, but in this situation, I would think some of it's warranted. And they don't di- I don't recall them talking much about that. It was just like she's home, and then
Yeah.
fast forward to where we are today. So that was I feel like that would have been a great moment for her to shine as you know a little bit stronger. Like, you can overcome, and here's what I did, and here's how I got through it, and
Yeah.
you know. Anyway.
I No, I agree with that 100% because her life since all of this has been advocacy work. So she
Mhm.
created the Elizabeth Smart Foundation, and it supports survivors of sexual assault, missing person cases, and victims' rights causes. So a lot of what she does now is that. I also have a note that her mother, Lois Smart, chose not to participate in the documentary because she didn't want to revisit the trauma.
Mm,
So I
interesting.
know, and I think about this all the time when I watch things like this because I have a daughter. How devastating this whole thing would be,
Mhm.
right? And like that you see the news clips of her mother just like pleading, like, we
Mhm.
want you back and all of this. So I totally get that. But I like you said, I do wish that they had gone more into her healing and all of that. Would have
You
been
know, I just had this vision of you versus her mother, and her mother was like, "I don't want to revisit my trauma," which, like, I totally get that. We've all
totally
been
get.
a lot of
Hmm.
many of us have been traumatized, and going back and talking about it's not always easy. But then I pictured you in the same scenario, and you would be standing up, like, shouting at the camera, pointing your finger, like,
Oh
"Don't do
yeah.
this and don't do that," and
I
yeah,
would be making
I
death threats to whoever took
yes,
my child.
yes, you
I would,
would.
and when they found them, I would then go to prison for murder because I'm confident
Yes,
I would be one of those people that would take a gun to court and murder them.
right, and then it would be
And then I would be
abandoned.
on I would be on trial for
Rachel's
murder.
daughter.
Yeah. Janet is now raising Rachel's daughter, everybody.
Oh my god, no, don't do that.
Vigilante justice. No,
Don't do
no,
that to your poor daughter.
I know. No, my
Uh,
feminine rage is really strong these days. I'm sure you guys might be feeling the same way with everything that's going on in the world currently.
mm,
But thankfully, Elizabeth is now a 38-year-old mother of 3 children and lives with her family in Utah. So, I mean, that's wonderful. Like I said, she has the Elizabeth Smart Foundation. She does a lot of education, advocacy, and she regularly speaks publicly and participates in campaigns like We Believe You. Imagine that.
mhm. Imagine that. Mhm.
Supporting survivors by promoting belief and compassionate responses to disclosures, like her sister who told them who was the perpetrator. Lord. But think
Listen
about,
to them.
but think about that's one of the reasons the statistics that we have on sexual assault are not clear because the majority of people do not report. And I do have some disgusting statistics for us.
Please share.
Let's see, what do I want to call out here? So, in the United States, clergy abuse, especially in the Catholic Church, is real bad. Okay. A
Mhm.
major analysis by John Jay College of Criminal Justice found 4,392 Catholic clergy were accused of child sexual abuse in the United States between 1950 and 2002.
Oh my
This
god.
re- this represented about 4% of priests in active ministry during that period.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Wow.
And think about how many victims each one of those 4,392 clergy probably had.
Did you see the movie Spotlight?
I don't think so.
I highly recommend that movie to everyone who's listening. Um, it tells the story of the newspaper and the reporters who first broke the story of the abuse by Catholic priests.
Mhm.
Michael Keaton's in it, several other people. Anyway, it's a brilliant movie. Go ahead.
No,
Spotlight.
it's just really it's bleak. It really is. Catholic institutions typically account for the largest share of reports of child sexual abuse. Many survivors reported abuse beginning around age 10 and recurring over extended periods. In broader child sexual abuse research, independent of setting, estimates suggest that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 7 boys experience sexual abuse by the age of 18. And
Oh
very
my
few of
God.
these cases are ever reported.
And what's so sad, it's not even like these children are kidnapped and dragged across the mountain and forced to marry a stranger at 14.
Right.
This is stuff that happens in the home with people they know and people they trusted. And it breaks my heart.
Um, yes. I mean, because, again, statistically, Warren Jeffs.
Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about. That's
I'm
his
sorry.
name.
I'm sorry to shift gears, but I brought it up earlier. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Warren Jeffs was the spiritual leader of the FLDS, Mormon polygamy group, and he was convicted in 2011 in Texas of sexual assault related to marrying underage girls as spiritual brides, including 2 girls aged 12 and 15. Ugh. He's currently
Mm.
serving a life sentence.
And if I may, just
He's so
two quick
gross.
sh- two quick shout outs. There's a great podcast called Trust Me, and the two hosts are women who have both been involved in cults,
Mhm.
and one of them was grew up in the Mormon Church, the
Mhm.
FLDS, and they have just a great podcast. But one of theirs is they talk about Warren Jeffs and the whole thing. Um, and Crime Junkie, if true crime, if you like it, they're they just re-released an interview that their host did with Elizabeth Smart.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was from 2021, but they re-released it, I guess, obviously with the documentary coming out. But it's over an hour of just one-on-one interview with Elizabeth and what she went
Mhm.
through. I didn't get all the way through it today, but uh, I recommend it.
Yep.
Yeah, just to hear more, I guess, more relaxed conversation than this documentary.
Mhm. Yeah. It's horrific.
That's There aren't even words for how bad.
There and what's even I mean, and now we're seeing this play out in the United States on an epic scale with the Epstein files.
Hmm.
And the things that I'm seeing in those files are heinous. Things that I could not imagine in my worst nightmares. And these are things that happen to children. And I can't. I cannot even.
I can't.
And our government just came out and said, "Oh, by the way, there's nothing to see here. Jeff Epstein was just doing this for himself, nobody else." So
That
they
is
pretty much
bullshit.
they've said that they've concluded their investigation and that no investigations or charges will be brought against anyone else. It was just Jeff doing it all by himself.
Oh my God. We live in a world where it's okay to be a pedophile if you have enough money or power.
Correct. And in religious situations, it's power. And as we're seeing in the United States government, it's power
Hmm.
and money.
Power and
Well,
money.
I mean, but I've also seen where other countries are starting to investigate the
Hmm.
Epstein files. So France
Good.
just
Maybe.
yeah,
Good.
France is looking into Elon Musk. So France, please do what we could not do because our country's stupid.
Agree. Welcome to America.
Yeah, we're gonna both be arrested for saying these things probably. But if you or someone you know needs support or has been a victim of sexual violence or related trauma, there are resources for you. There's the RAINN, RAINN, National Sexual Assault Hotline, and that's 1-800-656-HOPE. And that is confidential support 24/7. You've also got the Elizabeth Smart Foundation. There's local providers. We're going to list some of these resources in the episode bio as well.
Yeah.
Show notes, whatever they're called.
Whatever they're called. We're going to put the information there for you. You're not alone, and you don't deserve. Nobody deserves any of that.
Yes.
Ever.
Unfortunately, you're not alone. We gotta overthrow the patriarchy. It's time for some matriarchy up in this place.
Yes, it is.
Men have been in control of things for too long, and they've really fucked it all up. So it's time for us ladies to show them how it's really done. Okay, we could do things much better.
And take care of the children. Don't violate the children.
And
let's start there.
Listen, matriarchy would be better for men too, because we would take care of them too.
It happens.
Like, women are the protectors, not men. Excuse me. Y'all got it wrong. Okay, I won't get on my soapbox. I could really get on there for a while. Thank you for listening to the words from our mouthholes to your ear holes.
We hope your ear holes enjoyed it. And Rachel, it was heavy.
Sorry.
Rachel documentary kidnapped Elizabeth Smart. Should I watch that?
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Absolutely. If you can, like I said, it is heavy. It is, it's a lot, and it's hard to watch. All of it is hard to watch and witness. Janet, what do you think? Yes. Should I watch that?
Definitely. I mean, it's it's not one of these, like, and we're all about the true crime, but it's nice to see one that's solved. And you see someone come out on the other side of that trauma and that violence as a stronger person who is helping other people. And I think that's just absolutely amazing. Yes. So yes, watch it.
Agreed. But she wouldn't have to be stronger if she wasn't victimized in the first place. I just wanted to say that.
Preach, sister.
Let's stop victimizing people. How about that?
Okay.
Abusers, stop abusing. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye.
This episode was produced by Ryan Wyrick.
Follow us on Instagram at Should I Watch That 25 and on Facebook at Should I Watch That.
Email us at shouldIwatchthat25@gmail.com.
Like, follow, and review wherever you listen to us.
Or wherever you cast your pods. Thanks.
Thank you.